Today on CityCast Chicago, we all know the city has a lot of really serious disparities. But one I had never really thought about was where dog parks are located. The far southwest side just got its first 2 dog parks this summer, and I wanted to find out what they mean for the neighborhoods. So I visited Wentwoof Dog Park in Garfield Ridge and talked to the alderman who pushed for these amenities. It's Thursday, August 3rd. I'm Simone Alicea in for Jacoby Cochran, and this is what Chicago's talking about. Wentwoof is in Wentworth Park at 57th and Narragansett. Roughly half a dozen dogs and their owners were there on a cool-ish July evening.
My name's Ann Krutzler. I live here in Garfield Ridge, and my dog is Layla.
Can you describe Layla for me? What kind of dog is she? What does she look like?
Layla is a mini golden doodle, and she's 25 pounds, and she has curly, kind of sandy color hair.
Very friendly.
Very friendly, lovable dog, wants to be around all the other dogs and thinks she's a human.
What was your reaction when you first heard about, saw the dog park?
I honestly didn't think that I was going to use it as much as we do. We go for a lot of walks. I have 3 kids, so we do a lot of walking around the neighborhood. But it's kind of nice when I'm here with the kids, we go for a walk to be able to come sit somewhere and let her off the leash. The dedicated dog park really lets her kind of explore more and gives her the opportunity to meet other dogs.
I guess, have you noticed any change in her behavior or mood overall since you started coming here?
Yeah, she's definitely more open to try and run up to other dogs. When we first started coming here, she would usually shy away from the dogs and typically go more for the people that were in here because she's used to being around people. So it's nice to see her interacting more with the other dogs now.
Why dog parks? Why should we care if there's a dog park in our neighborhood if this is a resource that folks have?
If you're an animal lover, it doesn't matter who you are. Everyone, it brings people together. When people are here, everyone's just has the same agenda. We're all just here hanging out, letting our dogs run around. Everyone's super friendly. Yeah. I think it's just about people being together.
So first, can I just have you introduce yourself, your title, first name, last name, your ward?
Sure. Marty Quinn, Alderman, 13th Ward, City of Chicago.
The population of the 13th Ward is nearly 2/3 Latino and about 1/3 white. And even though it's mostly single-family homes with yards, Alderman Quinn says there was still a lot of demand for dog parks in both Garfield Ridge and nearby West Lawn.
I spend an incredible amount of time going door to door, almost every night, checking in on residents. And it came up at a door conversation and prompted me to do some research. And the feedback from the research was that there was 29 dog parks in the city of Chicago, and the closest one on the southwest side is McKinley Park, which is 6 miles away from the 13th Ward. And so right away that got my attention, and so I reached out to the Park District, and they have this robust dog-friendly area guide, which is about a half-inch thick. And part of that guide is to develop a community group that is willing to take on the responsibility of the care for the dog park. And beyond that, there are several meetings that you have to have with your dog-friendly group, coupled with a petition that I carry door to door, both in West Lawn and Garfield Ridge, to properly vet this idea. And I'm proud to say that over 1,000 people signed the petition for the dog parks.
So how long between that initial door conversation to the first grand opening in June? What was the timeline there?
We did the first grand opening door to door to June, about 2 years. So we started door to door in 2021.
Wow. That's a long time.
Yeah, and I think it was reported by the Southwest News Herald that McKinley Park took almost 8 years.
Wow.
And so from from putting the committee together to having, we had probably a dozen meetings in the location, to in my office, to bringing in the park district to talk about design. Yeah, 2 years from start to finish. And what I've come to recognize is that everyone loves talking about dogs. If you're a dog person, you love talking about your dog. And so in a conversation I had at the door last month, there was a young mom said, I met 6 new people at the dog park that I otherwise never would have met in our neighborhood.
I think in some of the other coverage I'd read of this story, there was a description of like dog park desert, right? The describing sort of the disparities in sort of where dog parks are concentrated in the city. I mean, of all of the disparities that Chicago faces, why should we care about something like a dog park?
Well, I think it speaks to contributing to the healthy community part of it, and having dog parks, having safe places as a city, making sure that our community owns its common spaces makes a lot of sense. I've heard when I was going door to door that this will help property value and those sorts of things. So I suppose that remains to be seen. For me, the primary motivation was just the South Side versus North Side competition and the equity. And so whether it's dog parks or educational opportunities, that's been my North Star in terms of motivation since I started in the council, whether it be educational opportunities or amenities in parks. It needs to be equal across the board.
Did you get any pushback when you were going through this process?
There were a couple questions about specifically West Lawn. Where the dog park's built at West Lawn used to be an old batting cage. And so when we're going door to door and telling folks that we're reimagining building a dog park inside the old batting cage, the question is, well, what's going to happen with Little League or baseball, and can we do things to support baseball? And so we brought back West Lawn Little League this summer. So for the first time in 4 years, there was Little League played at West Lawn Little League. And that was the byproduct of having conversations with people that raise questions like, okay, dogs are great, but how about the kids? And so all of these amenities are really, really important, as we want the park to be the focal point of the neighborhood.
Friendly, but she's also very vocal.
Ah, you got a lot to say?
Yeah.
Yeah, huh? Hello.
My name is Rick Ceniceros. I'm from Garfield Ridge, right here. And my dog's name is Kima. She's a rescue, so we're not 100% sure of the breed she is, but when we rescued her, the paper said mountain cur. But when I took her to the vet, they said she was a Catahoula. Anyway, she's got like tiger stripes, kind of, which people always, and kids especially, like to say that she looks like a tiger. She's happy to have the dog park.
What do you think is the biggest difference between having a dedicated dog park and just, being able to be in any park or whatever?
The biggest difference is very, very noticeable to me because walking her here every day, I know most of the dogs here. So whenever I see them, it's funny because I know the dogs' names. I never remember the owners' names. But I do know a lot of the dogs in this neighborhood. When this dog park came, I was expecting to have the usual crowd, but I think the biggest difference is there's a lot of new dogs that we've met, just a lot, which is awesome. And I usually come with her here around 3 o'clock-ish, and it's not that full, but whenever there is people here, she loves it, and she likes coming even when there's nobody here. That part I don't know why. She drags me here.
Really?
Yeah, so I get kind of bored of the same route every day. So I try to pull her in different directions, and she always just tries to come back here.
Well, that's cute. You mentioned that was your first time you heard that this was the first one on the Southwest side. I mean, Chicago, it's a segregated city. I don't know. How important is it that a community has something like a dog park when we think about they don't know, the grand scheme of Chicago things. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's a big question. I think it's great for meeting new people and meeting the kinds of people in your neighborhood. I'm Mexican, so I don't see that many people, not many Mexicans in this neighborhood as much as I did in my old neighborhood, which is Brighton Park. But coming to this dog park, I see a lot of different people, and not just the same that I see all the time. So I think, I don't know what that means. I don't know what that translates to, but I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like getting to know your neighbors even more.
Yeah, for sure. We got some new visitors in the park. Hey, buddy.
Hello.
Hi.
My name is Sonia Garcia. I live in Garfield Ridge, and I own Rocky and Soul. So Rocky's very timid. He's a shy boy, but he has a lot of love to give. He loves his cuddles. And then Soul, on the other hand, is a social butterfly. She comes up to anyone and everyone, has to say hi, greet them all at the door. She's definitely a social butterfly.
Can you describe them physically?
Soul is a golden retriever, so she's blonde, short hair, and she's a little peanut head. Rocky is all black.
What makes the difference to you between just like walking your dog or being out in just any old park versus having a dog park?
So both of my dogs are rescues. Rocky in particular is a little antisocial when it comes to like hanging out with other dogs, other people. He can be a little shy. He is friendly, but he's shy. So just there he is. He's scared of the scooter. But yeah, just getting him in a place where he can meet new people and it be safe and him feel comfortable is really important to me because I want to give him a good life.
So when this dog park opened, it's like the first dog park on the southwest side of Chicago. What's your reaction to that fact? Like, what does that make you think?
A little disappointed. I'd like to see more investment in the southwest side. So knowing that they opened this one, there's one in West Lawn, makes me really happy and excited to see more investment in the community that I live in.
I guess, like, what is the other way to get your dogs socialized?
I mean, I would have to pay for daycare, which is really expensive, and not really realistic for a lot of people. So, I mean, there really isn't any other option unless, just walking your dog around the park, but sometimes people's dogs aren't as friendly and don't want to socialize. So this is a safe place for them.
In addition to Wentwoof in Garfield Ridge, you can now also check out Woof Lawn Dog Park on 65th and Tripp in West Lawn. That's okay. Before we let you go, a little bit of news. Hundreds of immigrants have been moved from temporary shelters at city colleges ahead of the fall semester and from a South Loop police station ahead of Lollapalooza, which starts today. City officials say the transfer to new shelters on the north side was planned in advance and has nothing to do with the Grant Park Fest. We have the latest on the city's migrant shelter plan in our daily newsletter, Hey Chicago. Find the story and subscribe at chicago.citycast.fm. And some good news to get you through. If you're trying to avoid downtown during Lolla but still want to get some festive vibes, Jeff Fest starts tomorrow in Jefferson Park. We've also got a guide to the Northwest Side neighborhood Where Else on our website. Again, that's chicago.citycast.fm. Tomorrow, I'll be breaking down the week's news with a couple friends. Hope you'll join us. I'll talk to you then.